So I thought I'd do a different one today, basically. Thought I'd just take you through sort of what I get up to on my days off, basically. So as you know, I've got loads going on. I've got the 3D printing, the snakes, the fish, there's a lot that goes on in my life. And yeah, I just thought I'd do sort of a day in the life of what I get up to, really. I've got a few jobs I need to do today, nothing major. But yeah, I just thought it'd be interesting for you to sort of follow along. So it's probably about, what's the time now? It's about 9:15. Yeah, I had a bit of a lay this morning just because I didn't sleep that well. But yeah, so I'll sort of take you through what I do today. Now, I don't normally eat early morning. I don't know why, but I've always struggled with breakfast and things that I probably don't eat till about sort of 10:30, 11ish. But normally I'd wake up and I'd just crack a Monster and I'd have an energy drink. And yeah, that'd be my sort of kickstart to get me going for the day. I'm trying to get away from energy drinks. I know they are bad for you, but they're just really easy to just go and buy, aren't they? So I've recently started drinking iced coffee. I don't like coffee really. So I started making my own iced coffees, and it's literally just with I have to use chocolate milk just so I try and take as much of the coffee taste away as possible. But yeah, it's got chocolate milk, honey, coffee and a little bit of sugar, and that's it. So it's quite sweet. You can still taste the coffee, but it's sort of, that's what I'm trying to do basically, just to sort of kickstart my day. So now I've got that done, I'm sort of half awake. I'm going to go start checking on the animals basically. So yeah, I'll sort of take you what I do, how I sort of sort the animals out, check everything's alright. And yeah, then we'll just get into the rest of the day really. Now, whenever I walk in the room, the first thing I always check are these drawers, because sometimes I do forget to put pegs on, and stuff does tend to get out. So the main thing I look for, as soon as I walk in the room, I look at the drawers to make sure none of the drawers have been pushed open. I've come out here multiple times to see multiple drawers open. I'm thinking, oh no, now I've got to play a game of hide and seek all day trying to find these little buggers. Luckily my room is completely sealed. The only way they can get out is if they decide to go for a little swim. But yeah, that's always the first thing I check. So once I've had a look about and I know there's nothing there waiting to ambush me, because I have done it in the past where my hatchling rack is just down on the right, I've walked past and I've had something nipping at my ankles. So I always give it a good check just to make sure there's nothing lurking around, make sure everything is in its tubs. So once I take the lids off the pond, I keep them on just to stop things from jumping out. Basically, I have had fish jump out before. I have a little look in the pond to make sure everything's all good. And once I start lifting those lids up, they know it tends to be feeding time, because I do like to feed them fairly early. And here you can see I'm just getting some king prawns and some bloodworm together, get them defrosting, ready to go. While they're defrosting, I head up back in the room. At this point, once I've done a few more checks, the food's going to be defrosted. This is when I'll start feeding my giant gourami. So I've made a couple of videos, and this guy is very tame. He comes and feeds out of my hand all the time. He's always the first fish up that comes and greets me. And he's probably one of my favourite fish in there, other than the stingray. I'm looking to get this guy a friend. This is a male. I'm looking to find a female, not to breed them, but just because I want to try and get one of the grey ones. They've got like the red fins. They just look really, really nice. But whenever I do start feeding him, you can see the stingray always gets a little bit jealous. And whenever she comes up, I like to give her like a little stroke on the nose, just so that she knows that I'm not going to hurt her. And it just sort of makes her a little bit tamer, I guess. So she's not, when I'm putting my hands and stuff like in the pond, it doesn't scare her. So here I'm just cutting up some of the food. This is so I can actually feed the other fish floating around in there. Now, I do like to feed the gourami first because he is greedy. He will just eat absolutely everything that's in the pond. So I always try and make sure that I feed him first so he's not as greedy. He doesn't bully the other fish out of the way. So I normally just cut up a couple of prawns just to make sure there's enough to go around. And I chuck a couple in just to sort of get the other fish interested. And again, you can see the stingray coming up. She always comes up, which is brilliant. And she sort of acts as like a hoover for me as well. So once she comes up 2 or 3 times, I do tend to chuck all the food in, and then whatever floats at the bottom doesn't get eaten by the fish, she tends to hoover it up anyway. So this is where I chuck the whole lot in. You can see the rest of the fish go crazy for it. And then once I've finished feeding them, I'll then move on to the tortoises. Again, I've done a couple of feeding videos of these guys. They're absolute tanks. And if you don't know what these are sulcata tortoises. I believe they're the 3rd largest tortoise in the world, so they do get quite big. The one I'm feeding here at the minute, this is called Ed. Now, we bought this tortoise quite small. It was probably about 3 years old when we bought it, and they are quite hard to gauge whether they're male or female. You have to sort of look at the back of their base of their shell just to try and tell if they're male and female, and it all depends on sort of the V shape and how aggressive the V is and things like that. And we weren't entirely sure. As
head's gotten bigger. We do believe it's a male, which we're hoping isn't an issue, because I do have 2 sulcata tortoises, and in a minute you'll see the other one does sort of spring to life a little bit and poke his head around the corner. That's Simba. I didn't name them, they weren't my choice, someone else named them. But yeah, we've got Ed and Simba now. We do believe they're both males. I have seen in the past that people have had issues with having 2 male sulcata tortoises, with them fighting and things like that, and I'm hoping we won't have that issue. But we do keep a close eye on them. They're both young, they've both been brought up together, so we're hoping they're sort of used to each other, and they won't sort of start showing any aggression. But all I'm doing is here, I'm just feeding them some sweetheart cabbage. This isn't a bulk of their diet. I like to give them one of these, just a sort of a starter in the morning, if you like. It's just because there's quite a lot of water content in this, so I think it just helps keep them hydrated. We do put a water bowl out for them sometimes, but they do tend to just knock it over. Now, we are keeping them inside for now, just because I need to do a little bit of work on their house that we've got in the garden. I need to insulate it a little bit better, because it just doesn't hold the temperature that well. So yeah, that's going to be a summer job, because it's too cold at the minute. I'm not going out there and doing it, especially today as it is snowing, so I really don't want to go out there and deal with that. But yeah, you can see Simba, he's literally just waking up as well. They're a bit like me, they take a little bit of time to sort of get adjusted and wake up in the morning, but I'll give them this as a bit of a treat. And then I've got some other tortoise food that I'll give them, like some little pellet food and things like that, just so they get extra nutrients. But I'm going to chuckle this on the floor. It does make a mess, but it is quite fun watching them, so I did film a little time lapse for you to watch. Now that the tortoises are fed, the last thing I really have to feed is the fish tank that I've got upstairs. Now, I have done quite a few videos on this tank, and it is something that I sort of keep falling out of love with. And I don't know if that's because I just don't have the time for it, or it's just because I don't really know what I want to do with it. It's a tricky one. I really like the large fish, basically, so the stingrays and the giant gourami downstairs. They're going to get huge. And I kind of wanted that for my saltwater tank. I really wanted to get big predator fish, basically, to put in there. And I'm really struggling to decide what to do with this tank. I don't know if I want to go down the coral route again, because I used to have loads of coral in here. I don't know if I want to go down the big predator fish tank route, but then the tank's not big enough for that. I don't know. But in here I've only got a few fish. I've got a Stars and Stripes puffer, I've got a porcupine puffer, I've got a vampire tang, and then I've got this little moray eel. So yeah, I'm in 2 minds about what to do with this, but now that they're fed, I can sort of move on to doing my other tasks, basically. So all I'm going to do here is I'm not going to check every single snake at the minute, just because I do check them fairly regularly. I'm sort of looking at the ones that I'm keeping an eye on, so some of them may be going into shed, some of them may have just shed, some of them I'm sort of looking to see if they need tub upgrades. There's probably about 5 or 6 animals in this rack that do need tub upgrades, and I'm working on building a upgraded rack for this to put all my grow-ons into, so that's a video that's going to be well worth looking out for. It's all going to be aluminium, things like that, like my previous racks. But now I've done all the checks on these, I can then move on to my adult racks. This is the rack I was talking about. I built all these myself. I've got a full video on how I did those, and I will be making another one soon. Now, I am using a snake hook. Well, it's not really a snake hook. This is a, it's one of them wallpaper rollers that I just use. Now, I never used to have any issues with my snakes, but I don't know if it's because of the racks they're in or the fact that I don't get them out regularly, but they can be very aggressive at times, especially around feeding times. They can be absolutely ridiculously aggressive, where they're full on launching out of the tubs to try and get me. So yes, I do use a little snake hook. Now I'm going to be making my own version of this, just because this is just a thing that will do for now, but I do want to make a proper snake hook. So I'll probably be doing a video on that, just because I'm going to make it quite arty-tarty and things like that, because I like doing that sort of thing. But again, all I'm doing here is I'm just spot checking stuff, mainly looking for females that I've paired up, looking for any ovulations, things like that. Again, anything that may be in shed, I'll have a little look at. This draw I'm actually putting out here, this is a double het girl that actually produced a clutch for me on her own, so it's well worth looking at that video. So what I'm looking for is, I've got a couple of pairings going on for this season. I don't have many, because a lot of the stuff that I want, I'm just going to close that for a second because she's going to come out. The reason I'm not doing a lot of pairings is because a lot of the stuff I want to pair, I'm currently raising up. A lot of the tubs that you saw that are above the pond, a lot of them are growing up. A lot of them are females really that I just need to get up to size. There's a couple of males floating around, but this whole entire rack system I've built, all of these, they're all full of mostly adult females. Quite a few of these are for sale. I think there's about 7 or 8 of these that are up for sale. They're all proven breeders other than one. They're all up on my Morph Market, so if you are interested in getting a breeder female, then yeah, have a look on there. I've got some really good prices going on at the minute, and that is basically because I'm moving. I just don't have the rack space basically, so I do need to move them on. But yeah, I've only got 4 or 5 pairings like I said. One of the pairings is this one, so I've got, it's literally just a mahogany to a clown. And the reason I'm doing that is because I just want to hit straight mahoganies. That's all I want. I don't want to hit anything else in the mix. I could have got loads of other genes in the mix and things like that, but I just like keeping it simple. That's just how I've always bred my animals. So yeah, I'm doing just a little check on these guys just to see what's going on. I don't know if they are about to lock, if they've just finished locking. I'm not entirely sure, but they're both sort of in that sort of position where they're either getting ready to do something or they just have. So that is a good sign. I have seen these guys locked a couple of times, so yeah, that's really encouraging to see. This one I'm excited and I'm not excited at the same time, because it's not, I've got to be careful with it. That's the only reason I'm using this, because I've got to be careful with this girl. She does tend to fly out of the tub every now and again, so I do need to give her a little nudge. And even then, when I give her a nudge, she's yeah, she's not the best. She can be quite nippy at times, so I do have to be careful. But once I get her in there, she's normally alright. So yeah, it's not a pet. I tell you, I'm going to go the other side. Oh, she's going now. So this isn't a pairing that I would typically do. It's something that you're sort of aiming for the highest luck rate basically. So they're both triple hets, and for the price of them, I couldn't really say no. I could get them shed tested, but you'll understand why I haven't in a minute. I just want to try and sort her out because I really don't want to get bitten today. So they're both triple POS hets. So the genes that are in place, so she's just a normal, and this is a pastel pinstripe. Now the reason I sort of took a chance is because he does look a little bit different. The pinstripe pattern is a lot more broken up compared to most of the pastel pinstripes that I've seen, and even some that I've hatched. So yeah, that's why I've picked this. Also, yeah, she is just a normal, but the head on her it's extremely blushed out, more than what you'd expect for a normal. If it was a bit lighter, then you'd probably say there was a little bit of pastel there, but there's not. It's just the way it is. So I do think they are het for something. So the genes at play are, there's Sunset, Ultramel and Albino. So I believe they're both from the same original breeder, and he has got Ultramels and things like that. So it's not that I don't trust the breeder and the person I've got from, it's just the fact that they are POS hets. Now you're always taking a shot in the dark when it comes to POS hets, but yeah, I thought, do you know what, for the price that I've got them, I really can't complain. At some point I probably will get their sheds tested for Ultramel and Albino, because they're both POS hets and I pair them together, even if I don't produce anything that's recessive, one of them might be carrying the gene and the other one might not, so I will get them both checked at some point. The Sunset, I don't think they're doing shed testing for Sunset yet, but again, that is something that I probably might do if it does eventually come out, depending on what these two end up as. But it's a nice little project, and I thought, you know what, I'll just do it. I have got someone that can take the babies on if they are literally just normals and there's no hets involved, which again, it is a bonus for me. But I thought, you know what, it's a shot in the dark. So I was just checking out all my hatchlings just to make sure they're all good, waters are topped up, and spot clean anything that I see. And one of the last ones and the last one I've come across is this little guy. So let me just zoom out a bit so you can see. So this is a hypopastel blackhead male that I've been growing up in the racks. And yeah, I don't know if it's just because the humidity in there wasn't high enough or whatnot, but he's basically just got, if I can see, he's got a little bit of stuck shed just on his head and the top part of his neck. He's managed to get the rest of it off just fine. It was literally just that first bit that he must have struggled with. So he's a little bit camera shy. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to get a little tub with some warm water. I normally keep a couple of bottles of water bottled water up in the room so they're at room temperature. And what I'll do is I'm just going to chuck him in the tub with some water and just let him have a little bit of a soak in there as well. Once he's soaked, I'm going to give him a little rub, just try and get some of that stuck shed off. And yeah, hopefully he'll be good as new. And that's pretty much it for my day. It's now 4:20, so I've not really got a lot done today. It's taken a while just because I've had to film, so getting the camera set up, getting the right angles and things like that, it just takes a lot longer. But other than that, I've pretty much done everything I needed to do today. Like I said, I've been doing a few checks animals, I've been doing spot cleaning, I've been through all the hatchlings and checked they've all got waters and picked any things out from there. So it's not really an interesting thing to film. If you're in the hobby, then you know what that all entails, you know how to do all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's getting on now. So at this point I'm going to try and have something else to eat. I've already eaten, but I'm going to be going to the gym around 6 o'clock, so probably in between then and now I'm probably going to shave this off because I'm starting to look a little bit homeless. So I am going to try and tidy all this up. I'm going to get some food in me, and then I'm picking my mate up about 6ish and we're going to head off to the gym. But yeah, that is pretty much it. That is pretty much what I get up to on a daily basis. I do have some 3D printing stuff to do. I'm literally waiting for a part for this printer that's set up here. I'm literally waiting for a part for that to turn up, and then once that's here, I can literally get all my 3D printing back up and running. And then once that's done, it means I can get my incubator finished. I also need to finish a few bits on this rack. It's been going on forever, but I don't know if you can see over there. This is my heating system that I've designed using heat cable. And to raise them up, you can see I've 3D printed like these little black clips. Can you see them? So yeah, I've 3D printed them, and that's what actually raises the heat cable up, so it's basically almost touching the bottom of the tubs. And I've been testing it for probably, I don't know however long I've had these racks for, like, I don't know, 2 years maybe. Yeah, about 2 years maybe. And the temperatures have all been absolutely spot on. They're probably a little too hot, so I do need to adjust them a little bit and turn them down. But it's probably like, what, 92. I think the hottest I've seen it is like 93 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's not ridiculously hot. These are FB70 tubs, they're absolutely huge. The snakes have got loads of room, and the heat gradient does go down to about what the room is in here, which is about 80 to 84, depending on what time of year it is. But yeah, so once the 3D printer stuff's here, I'm going to start doing that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know if something over here is trying to attack me. I don't know if you can hear that. Something's trying to get me. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this type of video. It's something a little bit different. But yeah, I'm quite a nosy person. I like watching people's daily vlogs of what they get up to and all the little bits they show and things like that. Little insights that you probably wouldn't normally see from the videos that they'd watch. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you want me to do more videos like this, I can. Like I said, there's loads more that I do. I've still got fishing. I do plan on doing some fishing trips this year, so like carp fishing, pike fishing, things like that. I was paintballing yesterday. We've got a lot of paintball tournaments coming up this year, so if you want to see like the sporty side of things that I do, because I'm not really into football and all that rubbish, I tend to go for like the stuff that's a little bit weird, but that's just me. But yeah, if you want to see that type of thing as well, then by all means I can always bring the camera along and try and film it the best I can. But yeah, that's pretty much my day. Once I get back from the gym, I'm probably going to shower, stuff my face, and probably just chill for the rest of the night and watch YouTube. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.